All right. Hey, everyone. So we are here for the final day of the Houston Quilt Festival, and I am super excited because I want to tell you what is going on with our PR machines. We have a 10 needle, we have a 6 needle. So I have the 10 needle on stage here with me, but let me tell you about what the 6 needle can do. All right. We can do some beautiful hats with the 6 needle. All right. I took this one, I put some fabric behind it, kind of did an applique looking scene to it. I was at the store and I saw a bee and it said be kind. And I said, you know what? I can do that. And I have the same exact bee at my house on my machine. So I went home, dug through my stash, found that. So I was able to do this hat on my flat brim cap frame. And then, oh, hello. We're getting a double dose. All right. So then also I was able to do this hat. This was a kid's hat I found at the store. Not only did I do the front of it, this was all done on my 6 needle. I did the side, I did the back. And one day I will do the other side. So this is some of the great things you can do on your 6 needle. That gives you an 8 by 12 large stitch field. You have your 2 point position on there. So that way I can hoop anything I want, crooked, and then still stitch it straight. So next we have our 1055X. This is our big baby of the brother family or big daddy of the brother family. I don't know. This is our biggest one. So we have a 8 by 14 stitch field on here. I want to show you today though how we can use my design center and create this technique has been going viral lately. And I said, I bet we can do this on our machine. So I did the other side the other day and we're like a math problem. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. So we're going to get this other side stitched out today. We have my design center, and I'm like double dosing it here. Double dosing it here. All right, so I'm going to just start off first by building the project here in my design center. We're going to start off by just as easily as touching my design center. There are shapes that you can create in here. And I want to use a star because the main point to this is getting the little pointy parts on the side that allow you to have the open. Everybody else has been doing it with bows, but you know, brother, we're the star of the show. So we're going to do stars. All right. So we're going to touch OK. And then I want to resize it. And if my memory serves me right, I want to do it down to about a 3.5 because everything I do, I like it to fit in a 4x4 hoop. But you also have the option to use larger hoop sizes. 3.5 on the top by 3.67. So, I mean, if you're going to retry this at home, these are your exact dimensions. 3.5. Okay. And then we need to take our line properties and decide exactly how we're going to do this. So the first one, we're building an applique. So I need 3 pieces for 3 run stitches for this, and you'll see why in a moment. So I'm going to choose my line properties, do straight lines. Okay. And then I'm going to fill this in. It's going to turn it red. And then let's save this one to my pocket. Okay. Oh, I saved it. I saved it to memory. Sorry. There we go. Save that one to the memory. And then we're going to go next. And then set. All right. Now I'm going to add in another star. So I'm going to add my design center again. And this time, since I saved it to my pocket, all I have to do, go back in there, select it again, touch OK, change my line properties again. Let's keep up with the number that we have going on so far. So this is the star number 2. All right. Next. Finish it. Okay. Add in another one. We're going to star number 3. Get it from my pocket. Add it in. Okay. Make it a straight stitch. Let's turn it green. Okay. Do a full fill of it. Next. All right. And then this is going to be our last one that we're going to go and add in. Last time, my design center, go to the pocket, pull up the star again. Okay, this time we're going to leave it as a satin stitch because that's going to be the finishing part of our applique. Let's turn it, well, we'll turn it yellow. No, yellow, I remember we can't see yellow. We're going to turn it blue. And then fill it with the bucket. I heard it turn. And then next, now I want to change my zigzag width to about 16. And then touch set. Okay. All right. So now we have our star design. When I go to embroidery, I can see all of the different placement, tack down. I needed a second tack down, and you'll see why. And then my final top stitch. All right. So let's get a piece of tear stabilizer. I'm going to be using my magnetic hoops for this one. These magnetic hoops, they come in a 4x4 and a 5x7. This is going to be the 5x7. I tried it in the 4x4 at home when I did a test stitch out of this. It did well. It performed well. I just needed a little more space. All right. And on the 5x7, the magnets go in a certain direction, so you'll just have to know that. Now, one more thing I want to do before I remembered, I want to rotate it because I'm doing the shirt. I want to put it in going with the bottom side of the shirt up. So I'm rotating it, touching, okay, going back to embroidery. All right. And then my final color, I want it to be this nice reddish color, reddish pink. So I'm going to select that, use my magic wand, change it to number 3, touch okay, lock, and we're ready to stitch. All right, so this is just going to tell me where I need to place it. I also have some. All right, before we do that, we're going to start over actually because that one is not threaded. So let's just change number 1 to number 4, number 2 to number 5. I'm just choosing ones that I know for sure is threaded. And then 6. So it's just as easy as that. If you don't want to use one color, you use your magic wand and you move them around. All right, so let's try that again. And right on target, we have number 4 stitching out. And this is just going to be our placement. We're going to check our bobbin. We have a little bit of a tangle. All right, and that is no problem. That's nothing that scares me, and don't let it scare you at home because sometimes this happens. And what I do when that happens, I go down to the bottom in my bobbin wheel and I clear it. I clear it out. I make sure everything is out of the way here. Clear out any of that extra flyaways that we may have in there. Make sure you put your bobbin back. Make sure you put your bobbin back. Rethread it. Let me look, check my track up here. We look good. We look good. Maybe we're just waking up for the morning. Perhaps. And then we say, yes, we love you. And then keep going. Let me know if you guys sometimes run into this same thing in your studio where you're like, oh, let's just check and make sure. And then voila, we're good to go. So you see, it's no big deal It's a really easy fix when you need to change your threads around, when you need to make sure your bobbin well is cleaned out. That's just regular maintenance on your machine. You're making sure you're oiling it. I oil my machine and I take it to the spa once a year. I tell it it's its spa date to get everything cleared out and cleaned up. All right, so this first one is going to be our placement stitch. It's just going to let me know where I want to place my shirt. Once that stops, I will pause the machine. I could also do a reserve stop there, and that will stop my machine in its tracks. All right, pull a couple of these pins out, and I'm going to move this forward. Trying to see where the best angle for you all to see what I'm going to do. So on here, there we go. You'll see the top of the star, and I just want the bottom of my shirt to line up right against that top of the star, okay? So I might be out of the camera view for just a moment so that I can look at it. I'm going to balance it on my knee here. I'm going to get the center of my shirt right at the top of the star. And once it's done, I'll show you. All right, and just enough on there so that it does not move. And I'll probably pin 2 spots. This is quite the balancing act. This is testing my balance here now. I'll be right back into that same view. You good there? All right, you guys see me? In your studio at home, you have a flat table. Utilize that. All right, and that's about good enough right there just to hold me down in place. See how I have that pinned? Underneath there is the tip of the stars. Slide this back on your machine. So I love this hoop because it's easy to go on and off the machine. Perfect for applique. Perfect for, and this is a toddler shirt. I think it's like a 5T. Okay. So we're good to go here. All right, ready? We're going to start back stitching. Now, you should watch your stitch out as it goes. Sometimes I hover over the pause button if I need to stop it and make sure I'm going at the right one. I slowed it down to 400 stitches per minute. I'll speed it back up at the end when I get to my satin stitch to finish the whole thing off. And this is a really quick project, you guys. I mean, imagine doing about 4 or 5 of these, cranking these out within an hour. All right. So when it stops here, I'm going to go ahead and get my applique top piece, place it right down on top. Cut my thread. And I think I want to rethread this one. Let's just rethread that one. Okay, good to go. So my automatic needle threader keeps me sane, you guys. It keeps me from going in here and having to rethread it every time. All right, so I'm going to place my applique piece down, and I'm okay with where it stitched out, so I can remove that pin back there. Place that applique piece down. I'm going to speed my machine up now because we've gotten to the easy peasy lemon squeezy side. So now all it's doing is tacking down my applique piece in. I know exactly where to put it because remember in my design center, I told it exactly where I want the where I wanted it to sit. I told it that I wanted 3 running stitches and 1 final satin stitch to cover the top of it. Anybody else dance along to the rhythm of their machine, or is that just me? Just me? Okay. I'll do it, but I'll dance by myself. All right, I'm going to take it off the machine one more time. Last time. Now, this is where the magic happens. I'm going to cut out my applique. Oh, perfect. We're right back in place for that. I'm going to cut out my applique, and I'm going to make sure I cut out this V here. Nowhere else on my garment am I going to cut out anything other than the applique topper. So let's start here. Oh, and another thing I should add, the magic to applique is going to be the correct scissors. You always want to use applique scissors. I have a couple of smaller ones in my studio at home. That's going to be the beauty of it. All right, I'm going to leave this part for the very last. Anybody out there on live enjoy applique? I will say this was the very first technique that I learned when I learned to embroider. So applique has a very special place in my heart. Very special place. Right behind that might be left chest placement because I was getting so many orders for that. All right, now this is the piece that I'm going to cut both the garment and the applique, all right? If you get it mixed up, you're in good company because the first time I think I did this at home, I completely cut through the wrong piece. It's not worst case scenario though. All right, see that? We did it. I want to get a little bit closer. All right, and with these applique scissors, it's like butter. With our 10 needle, my design center, you can create anything. All right, let's get that back on the machine and do that final satin stitch, and then we're done. That was fast. All right. Make sure everything is moved from underneath the bottom. And I'm going to speed it up. So this stitch is 1,000 stitches per minute. I'm going for the gusto. We're going 1,000 stitches per minute here. The only time I really slow it down is when I'm doing something delicate. If I'm doing something really dense, then I want to let it take its time, give the thread time to really move through the tracks. Other than that, we're going wide open. It's helping for me to be more productive when I'm doing my stitch outs, whether it's for my daughter, for our customer, for anything I do. You want to have the flow of your production always wants to be on point. Helps you to be less frustrated. All right, you guys start getting excited. We're almost done. It says we have 2 minutes. 2 minutes, guys. Two minutes. That means I have to do a couple of these for myself at home. So while that's doing its last stitch, let me show you some other things that you can do with my design center. All right. So where are we at? Here. So I had a coloring book one day and I said, you know what? I don't want to color. I don't color within the lines very well, but my 1055X does really well with scanning it and then turning it into embroidery. So imagine having your grandchild, your son, daughter, niece, nephew, anybody. Imagine turning their designs into a shirt, a sweatshirt. Imagine using a recipe and putting it on a tea towel and sitting it out for the holidays. The holidays are upon us, y'all. I don't know about you all, but I cannot wait to get home to blast my Christmas music. All right. My daughter the other day, she was like, "Can we start now?" I'm like, "It's almost time. It's almost time." So when I get home, Christmas music is going on. All right. So, oh, and the Christmas tree. This year we're having a pink Christmas. Pink Christmas. I have 2 pink Christmas trees, and I think I want to do all freestanding lace for my Christmas trees. That's gonna be fun. I need to break into my PE Design 11, or break it in more, not break into it, but break it in more, because I know I can digitize a couple of ornaments on there. I can do a ton of things on that, and just wait and see what we do. You just wait. Almost done. We have less than 500 stitches left. I mean, literally less than 20 stitches actually. We're done. All right, so I'm going to take it off with the whole hoop, and then I'm going to take it off of the hoop and show you, because I want to show you how easily it comes off the hoop. All right, so that's the bottom of it. Just going to remove my pins. And watch this. Don't blink. Do not blink. Boom. It's off. All right, so we have the cutest sweater. So we have side number 1. You see how I have that opening there? I use the dark sweater, so it's kind of hard to see, but I have that opening on this side, opening on this side. So now we have our viral shirt, just like everybody else has. They have bows, but we have stars. Remember, I told you, brother is the star of the show. So we have the stars. All right, so I cannot wait to see what everyone produces. If you make this at home, make sure you put hashtag AllBrands so they can see what you guys do with your 1055X. All right, see you later. Bye.
Yes, it is turned on. You want me to put it? There we go. It's closer now. No, it's not coming out. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, let's start get this party started. Oh, I'm live. Hi. Where am I talking to, John? Hi, guys. How are y'all this morning? Ooh, hello. Ooh, John. Now we're really loud. Let's try this. Okay. I stay on this side. That's impossible. Hi, I'm Cindy Hogan, and for those of you that don't know me, today we are going to talk about PrintModa Studio. This is our fabric printer, and it is driven by ArtSpira. Now, having said that, if you don't want to use the ArtSpira app, you do not have to. You can print from your home printer, uh, from your home computer. Sorry, it is the last day of the last day. This is a long week, guys. So we are going to start in the ArtSpira app. I'm going to go to home and let you all see what we've got going on here. So am I screen mirroring up there? I am. Let's turn it sideways so you guys can see the majority of my screen here. If what's new in Art Spirit is if you have a tablet that you're using, it will rotate to landscape mode so you get to see the majority of it instead of keeping it in the center. So if you rotate your tablet, it's oriented correctly for you. That does not work with a phone, it only works with the tablets, okay? Now, one thing I do want to bring your attention to is in the ArtSpira app. If you go all the way across here, the last tab is education. And when you tap education, if you have a PrintModa printer, you would choose printing. And these are the videos that you would find. Each section has a list of videos that you would find out information about your printer or your cutting device. So, ArtSpira is our integrated app that has all of our devices in it. Now, let's look and see what we've got for printing. So if I go in printing designs, there are different projects that you can choose from. So this is a bag and pouch. If you touch on one of the projects, it will give you all the information and a tutorial on how to do it. Okay, so this is a combo project. It does embroidery as well as printing. And it's going to walk you through that project entirely. So the top front of that is embroidered. If we look at that bag a little bit closer, the little lunch bag, and the back of it is the PrintModa fabric. I'm just going to go ahead and get out. Our internet is a bit slow here today. I'm sorry for that. You also have all of your basic shapes. Now this is kind of fun. If I choose a basic shape, this is new in ArtSpira. If I choose one of my basic shapes, I can actually add a photograph to it and have it cropped to that basic shape. So it will actually fit inside of that basic shape. So I'm going to tap my basic shape. And if I touch fill, I can choose image and pick a picture, tap done, and looky there. So now it has cropped that image to that shape, which is kind of nice. If I don't like the photo, I can touch change. Actually, that's not what I want to do. I can touch fill again, pick a different photo, and tap done. So you do have that option these days of doing that. Let's go ahead and tap cancel. So there are a couple of ways to actually bring in your own embroidery images. Now there are fabric patterns in here as well. Anything with a crown on it means it's ArtSpira Plus, which is our subscription plan. Anything without the crown is free. If you want to filter by free designs, you touch the filter button, you touch membership type, and you take off ArtSpira Plus. Now it's just going to filter for all the free fabrics and free patterns that are in the design. So if I go over and tap one and tap create, we are slow on the internet today. Very slow. Hold on. Let's wait until it gets going. It is downloading the pattern for me currently, which is not, I don't, it's kind of weird. This is slower than I've seen it in a while. There we go. So, like I said, I had no clue as to what I was picking, but I actually ended up picking the pattern that they printed for that lunch bag. Who knew? So you can print that fabric out and use it in any project that you want to. Now, that is set to A4 um, A4 paper. If you want to create a custom size fabric, you're going to choose custom size and choose how big you want it to make. You can print up to 3 yards at a time. The fabric rolls, the refill rolls are 5.4 yards, but you can print up to 3 yards at a time. So I'm just going to leave it at a single yard and we'll touch OK. And you'll notice how it fills the entire thing for me. It knew that I wanted to do all of that in one time. Now, if I want to do my own thing, let's go home and let's do our own thing with PrintModa. I'm going to tap New and I'm going to touch Design Editor. This is where I tell it what I want it to create. So I'm going to touch Custom Size and I will choose this time, let's choose 12 inches, okay? I'm going to choose 12 inches in my height and tap Create. So I'm about a square piece of fabric here. If I want to fill the whole background with the image, I touch the first icon. This is your background fill. You can select any of the photos that are on your device. So if I wanted to add Leanne, I would tap Done and it will fill her to my device. Let's try that one more time. Evidently, I didn't touch it. There we go. Now see how it's filled it to that page. If that's not how I want to do it, I can tap Undo. If I want to add multiple photos to it and size them the way I want them sized, I simply touch the plus sign. I go into my camera roll or printing data and I select what I want to add. So let's go in here and let's see my recents and we'll add Leanne and move her up to the top. And then let's tap off and we'll go back down and add. Go back to printing data and go, oh, no, not printing data, camera roll. And we can come in and add, and let's add in Alexis. We'll have the team up here. We'll put her, oh, she always has to be the middle child, so we'll put her in the middle. We'll tap off of that and touch add and choose printing data, not printing data, camera roll. Come on, Cindy, camera roll. We'll go back into my recents and let's see here. I'm gonna add my fun one here. Although I've got my husband in that picture, let's see if we can cut her. Let me delete Alexis and bring her back in, and we'll cover up my husband. Okay, so we're going to tap and put her over the top of my husband there. There we go. I've got mine in cart. I've got mine. I've done the Artspira AI with mine. Now let's come in and bring somebody else into the picture. Camera roll. And let's see here. What have I got? I've got Angela in here somewhere. There we go. And I've got Emily in here somewhere. So this is the crew that came in to share with you, along with the AllBrands crew. Let me come down here and I'll tap again. Camera roll. And let's see here. Who else do I have in here? I've got Emily. So that's how you can collage your photos. And it will just print, if you have one that is over the other, it will not print both images. It will just print the top image, okay? It basically recognizes that you don't want all that there. But that's how you can combine multiple things. All right, I am going to delete all of these. And I'm going to take you into Artspira AI. Okay, so new to Artspira Plus is Artspira AI. So I'm going to cancel and actually get out of all of this. And we're going to start from the home page. If I go home and I tap new and I tap Artspira AI. This is a subscription feature, but it's quite fun to play with. That's what we've been having fun with lately. My two favorites are crayon and watercolor because they are highly entertaining and I can take 30 years off my life really quick. So I touch crayon and I took the worst selfie in the world the other day. I'm going to touch choose photo and we'll choose others, actually camera roll. And let's come find my terrible selfie that I did. There it is, right there. I mean, it's the worst picture I think I've ever taken of myself. So there we go. I have no glasses on, and we'll say convert, and just tell it, okay, don't worry about it. I know it's going to take a little while to process. That's all that's telling me. And it's also telling you that it's not going to look exactly like your original photo because this is an AI process. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you some things that I've done while we're waiting on that to process. So, this is my pup. Okay. And in the original photo, she has a little piece of grass in her mouth, and that was I actually happened to turn around. We had gone to the bathroom on a trip, and I turned around. We were at McDonald's, and she has this big piece of grass stuck there, and I thought it was hysterical. So I took a picture of it. So I took that photo and I took it through the ArtSpira AI, and I do believe this one is crayon mode. I've got one of her up there that is watercolor as well, I do believe. So one of them's watercolor, one of them's crayon. I don't remember which, but I think this is the crayon version. I'll let y'all check that one out. Um, we also have over here. Let's see here. So these are the ones that we did this that we played with this morning and done. So this was Alexis's picture. This is Leanne's picture. This is Emily's picture. Emily became a blonde little girl. So, like we said, it doesn't always give you what you're expecting. This is me and one of the ladies that stopped by the other day. We have noticed that it likes one person the best because the second person usually turns into a male. She One of the ones that we did watercolor. It gave her a beard, so it is learning. It's doing its own thing. But one of the best uses of the printer is to do your own photographs, okay, or photographs of others. If you just rotate your photo sideways, rotate your photo sideways and make it the size you want it, you can go horizontally. If you want to do bigger, you can do bigger. But there is my photo. As I said, I lost a good 30 years there. I thought, and turned out quite cute. I think I can have fun with that one. I'll just say done, and it will then process again. And there it is, done. Looky there. You can print it whatever size you want it. Hey, it even got the lights upstairs. I don't know what it must have tried to make a chandelier out of the air conditioning vents. But I do have earrings on, and I do have a necklace on, and so it tried to it picks up different details. It's not going to be the exact replica, okay? But those are fun to play with, I will have to say. Let's discard. Now, another way that you can use your the ArtSpira and your printer is to print larger items. Courtney has a quilt over there of her family that she has taken, and she has created it in 2-yard increments. Okay. She's split the photo up in thirds. I'll show you how that kind of works here. You choose design editor, you choose custom size, and you choose however many yards of fabric you want it to print. So if I wanted to print 2 yards of fabric, I would choose 72 inches. I'm going to go with 1 yard here just simply because I don't have a photo that has that many people in it to make it that wide. We'll touch create, and I'm going to go down and tap and say camera roll, and I will choose my photo. I have a photo of my niece and her husband on my device, I do believe. There we go. Yes, right there. And I'll take that and I'll make it to where it is a yard high. Oop, too big. There we go. We're close. And then you take it over to the further side. There we go. Oop. Nope. Fiddle day. There we go. That's close enough for government. You get the government work. Y'all get the idea right there, right? So then I would tap OK, and I would say done, and you can save it or not. If I were not printing everything at the same time, then I would save it definitely. I'm not going to save right now. You would then press print and print that part. Okay. To do the next part after this one has printed, you tap cancel. You simply you tap your photo, move it over to where you kind of have a little bit of an overlap. so that you know how you can put them together. So I'm going to leave a little bit of an overlap. In the previous one, we saw part of his shoulder, but we did not, and we saw all of her face. So this is probably a good place to split it. And then you would tap off and then tap done. I tapped off my screen and then I tapped done. I'm not going to save again, and I would print that part. Okay. Once that's done, I would not say done. I would say cancel again, and I would tap my photo and move it over to the last part of it. And then tap off or tap OK and say done, and I would print the last part. Make sense? Then you can match them up. You can either sew them together, you can glue them together, you can steam a seam them together, you can stitch witchery together, whatever you like to do. Okay. All right, that's how you do that. Now, where else did we want to go with this? Let's see. Oh, geometric patterns. One of my favorite ways to do this, and I left the thing over there hanging up, is to play kind of Where's Waldo with my photo. So you saw my niece and her husband, right? I just showed you that picture. Well, I couldn't find a fabric to match it besides the navy blue. Well, the navy blue will look great around the outside edges, but I wanted to have geometric pattern. I wanted to have something else around it. I needed another border. So I touched geometric patterns and I touched custom size, and I don't think I created a yard of that. I think I did about 25 inches maybe. I may have done a little bit more. I don't remember. I usually measure how long something is and add a few inches to that. I'm going to tap create, and then I'll add that image in here. Now, let's find it. No, well, that gives me an idea. But I see, if you look on the front of, see how that's hanging? That's what I'm looking for. But gives you an idea of what I'm about to do. So I tapped their photo and see how it's picked up their photo. You touch piece and you say show more until it gives you the piece that you want to look at. So I'm going to keep showing more until I find their heads. Okay. Now I've got their heads in the photograph. I can touch size, and we can take that size down. So now when I tap done, I not only have them in the center of the quilt, but I have them around the outside edge. And it's kind of like playing Where's Waldo. People don't realize that that's what's there, but that's actually what's going around the outside border of that. So I can match my quilt, my pieces to it, which is quite fun. That is one of the things that I've had a blast with. Now, I do want you all to be able to feel the fabric, feel what it looks like without a backing on it, so that you know what we've got. This is an example of using the AI on it, okay? And this is just an example of just the fabric. That is before it has been rinsed. After you've printed, you let it dry for at least 15 minutes. I usually let mine dry overnight. It's up to you guys, okay? But you want to let it dry. Then you peel the backing off of it and you soak it in cold water for at least 15 minutes. Once that's done, let it dry. You can press it and you're ready to go. That's how you actually set it. That will keep the minimum of transfer. If you plan on having it on a bag or something, I do suggest coating it with either a clear coat on the top. There is a treatment that you can do to turn it into kind of like an oilcloth as well. Any of those treatments that you can do, if you're planning on it rubbing up against you, would be a good idea. Okay. If it's going in a quilt, obviously I do not want to do that. That one's not going to have a high traffic. Nobody's going to be coming up. I'm not wrapping up in it. It's a specialty quilt. And that's generally what we would do those for. They would be specialty quilts. It's not like somebody's going to wrap up in them, curl in them, and you're going to be washing them a ton. But it's just like any other printable fabric. It's an inkjet process. The fabrics have been specially treated for it. In addition to, so out of Art Spirit, it always prints to the fabric roll. Okay. If you want to print to paper or something else, let's say you have an 8 by 12-inch sheet of regular printable fabric that you want to print on, that's a different kind of fabric. You can do that from tray 1, but you do need to do that from your computer or from an air print process. So a place where you can choose which tray you're going. Artspira automatically sends it to the fabric tray because that's where it thinks you're going. Okay. Um, it does not give you the opportunity to choose. What it does, one of the things that I do want to show you is, let's say when I'm done with this and I'm ready to print it, when I go into my printer settings, you can print fine quality or and borderless. You have fine and eco mode. There's not a significant difference in the ink usage there, and there's not a significant difference in how long it takes for it to print. What you will see is that there are some tiny details that get left. I mean, it's not as sharp of a print because it's not working. It's not laying down as quite as much. So I printed out 3 of the same photo so I could figure out so if anybody could figure out which one was eco mode and which one was fine mode, you had to look at the person's finger at their ring to see the difference, and their beard to see that you couldn't see the tiny fine hairs in there. That was the difference. So it's not like it's going to make a huge difference in your life if you choose eco mode. Okay. Borderless printing prints from edge to edge instead of putting a border around it. So if you filled up your page, it's going to go all the way to the edge. That is how I generally do it, unless I'm trying to leave. If I'm doing a centerpiece and I want to leave myself a 1/4 of an inch around it, then I will put my 1/4 of an inch border on it. And you can choose how much you want there. Okay, questions for me? Do what? Okay, you're more than welcome to do that. Would y'all like for me to print something? So let's do a little AI here. Let's see here. Can I pick one of you all to pick on today? How about you, my dear? So, are you hiding from anybody at work? Okay, if you're not hiding from anybody at work, then I'll do this. So I'm going to touch camera roll and I'm going to take a picture here right real quick. So we're going to go right there and we will take a picture. And let's see here. Did it go? There we go. Let's use that photo. And we will say convert. And let's see how young we can make us. This is so much fun when you make somebody like 30 years younger. I mean, I was like, wow, it really made me young. That was back when I started working with Brother many moons ago. When I first started my embroidery journey. But the AI part of it is an Artspira Plus. Anytime that you see the crown on something, that means it's that's the subscription model. I'm sorry, what? There is a free version and then there's an Artspira Plus subscription. So the AI part of it is part of the subscription plan. Anytime you see a crown, that's part of subscription. And if there's not a crown there, it's free. So when I originally started this out, I showed them see, looky there. Isn't that cute? So let's create that printing data. And we're going to go custom size. And I'm going to change that to 8.27 inches. Because that's the smallest that I can print. And we'll say create. I'm doing audience participation this time around. We'll say done. There's our photo. Let's put it in here. Yep, right in the front row here. And we will, oh, you've got pink hair back there. She's with it. She is with it. She's got pink hair back there. That's what all of us are wearing these days. That is quite. So we're going to go ahead and say okay, and it's going to print it.
Let me go get it.
It's right here.
Oh.
It's right here. Here we go. It'll do pretty quickly. Yes, ma'am. The printer does not scan. So you could take a picture of it on your device and send it directly over there if you want to. Or you can bring a JPEG in here. Okay, so if you scanned it on another device, you can actually send yourself the JPEG via email, or you can put it in your device. Uh-huh. Okay, that you want to embroider on your embroidery machine. Okay, so that is not PrintModa. Okay, that's not PrintModa. PrintModa is a printer only. ArtSpira does have an auto digitizing process in it. What embroidery machine do you have? Which brother? Is it the 1055 or is it a 1050 or okay, yours does not have the wireless capability in it. So it would not ArtSpira would not work with your 10 needle. Okay. Now, this is an app. What I'm doing right here is an app only, and this is printing only. Okay, what I'm doing. There is a part in here that is for embroidery, but it only works with our machines that have an internal wireless card. Looky there, guys. Isn't that cute? There you go. Um, so, you can, but what I'm doing right here is the printing process. So, there, I'm printing fabric. Yes. Yes. So if you feel here, you let it set for 15 minutes at least, and then you put it in cold water for another 15 minutes to rinse it out. Let it sit in cold water, jiggle it, do the whole 9 yards. Then you take it out, let it dry. I usually press mine and it is set. You can wash and dry it. I do not suggest you wash it with dark colors simply because it will absorb the dark colors. Since it is an inkjet printable fabric, it may absorb those colors. Okay. Uh-huh. I would tend more towards the gray so you don't have as much black on it. But wash your black fabric first with like vinegar to set the dye in that as well. But a memory quilt's not going to be washed that frequently. Yeah, I mean, it should be fine as long as she's not washing it every week. You think about fabric, the more you wash it, the lighter it gets. This is going to be the same way. Okay. I have not washed mine a ton because I mean, the ones I make are not for, I mean, usually I'm doing a wall hanging. So, but I mean, you could do it. She's not going to wash it every week. That would be, the more she washes it, just like any other fabric, the more it's going to fade. Okay. Um, all right. Any other questions? You're going to soak that in cold water. You're going to let it dry and then you're going to soak it in cold water. Okay. You're going to yep. Then just iron it and you're ready to use it. Okay. Have fun. Sorry. I had to pick somebody. I've already done myself. Scan and cut works with the ArtSpira with all right. So I've got to stop here. I'll answer these questions over here if that's okay. Somebody else is coming in behind me. Okay. Thank you all for coming and listening and have a good rest of the show.
Hey, John, do you have another one of those mics, or do I got to use this one? Oh, hi. We're live?
Yeah.
Hey, at home, you're missing a really good show. But for everybody else that's here, welcome everyone. I'm Tom, and this is Jerry.
Ben and Jerry.
So we're so excited for the Aveneer. So grab a seat. We're gonna be here for a whole hour this time, and we're gonna show you the embroidery, the sewing, the buttonhole, all the cool features on here. And I wish you all at home could see everybody walking around today. Day one, everybody's like, woo, walking through. Now they're like, everybody's tired, but not too tired to see this.
Absolutely. This even makes dinner. No, I'm just kidding. I wish.
We wish. So the one big thing that everybody talks about is a big hoop.
Yep. It's 11 5/8 by 18 1/4. We lovingly call it the hula hoop. You can see why.
It could hula.
It could go hula hoop.
Yeah.
One thing I like to say is, people will look at that large hoop and they'll say, I would never use a hoop that big. And all the embroiders just sort of laugh because yes, they would. And yes, it does bigger projects, but I also like to say, think efficiency. How many freestanding lace snowflakes can you get in that hoop? How many, the holidays are coming. We have those last minute gifts. How many little in the hoop projects can you do? Little pouches and things, little last minute gifts. How many of those can you fit in that hoop? A lot.
My whole shirt. I did my shirt. Got a few snags from my tag, but I could do my whole shirt. One big old hoop. And then the sleeves on that dress over there, one big old hoop.
Yep. Isn't that amazing that the design that's on her bodice, one hooping, all of that in one hooping. That's incredible.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll give it back to you.
Yes.
All right.
All
What
right.
about the tray? Everybody asks, is it going to stay stable?
Absolutely. It's fantastic. It sits right on the front of the machine. This is new for Brother. This is called the support table. And it just literally just very simply slides right in. And what it does is it supports this large hoop. And here, I need to pull this forward a little bit. All right.
Perfect.
So it supports the large hoop so you won't get any wobbling. And also for larger quilts, as you're piecing them, garments, if you're doing large garments, to have this extra tray is incredible. I would never take that off.
And I actually left that on even while I was sewing. It didn't matter.
Right.
But that dress over there, I did all those sleeves. They were each about 2.5 hours. And I put it in here. The machine talks to you, by the way. It told me when to change the bobbin, which was really cool. But it's so quiet. It doesn't wobble.
It's amazing.
There's no distortion when you get to the bottom edges. It's beautiful. All right.
Right. We're ready to start with embroidery. Who's
So
ready to?
how many
who's ready
here
to start?
have the Brother machine? The Stellaire? The XP? Which one do you guys have? Luminaire? Luminaire Dream? Awesome. Okay. So Dream Machine, they didn't even have the projector.
Right.
Luminaire has the projector, but this one's even bigger.
It's incredible. Wait till you see. You might not be a dream owner for long. All right, let's start with embroidery. So our screen here, if you have a Luminaire, this looks very similar, right? So I just want to say, if you're a Luminaire owner and you're nervous to come over to the Aveneer, absolutely nothing has been left off the Luminaire. So everything you know and love about it is coming right over to the Aveneer. Even they've kept the pages similar so that it's not intimidating. You know exactly what it is. And of course, in Brother World, we have all the same icons. So all of the needle up down is the same. So even if you have an entry-level machine, you could very easily sit at this machine and love it and know it because everything is the same.
That's what I love. I was talking to somebody yesterday who had the Dream Machine. She said, how much different is this? Well, it's only different because there's more things on it, but still the buttons are the same. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
things might have moved around a little bit on the screen, but they're there. Everything is there. All right, so we have a couple categories here. For those of you who are not familiar with Brother products, these are categories, folks. These are not just single designs. So when you open each of these categories up, it's going to expand the menu so that you see an absolutely incredible plethora of designs. There's 1,868 designs built into this machine. So you are ready to go. There's 217 Disney, 31
I'm just
fonts.
going to ask, how many Disney?
Yeah, 217 Disney, 31 fonts. So right out of the box, you are ready to go. Right, so let's go to category 1.
I love the categories.
Yeah, and one thing that's different is we used to have pictures here. Now they've been categorized. So if you're looking for an applique, if you're looking for food, if you're looking for, not literally food, but an embroidery design, we're not the Jetsons yet, botanical design and animal design, they're very easily categorized for you so that you can find them very quickly.
I like the fish one. They have marine. They should just call it fish.
Fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, fish. So we can see they even have crochet lace. They have in the hoop projects. There's quilting projects.
There's couching. I love the couching.
Love
They
it.
have couching
I
design.
love that sample. That's so pretty. Zentangle, animals. So you can see there's just a wide variety of things. And very easy. Oh, there's marine.
Oh, they also have these are. Gotta tell them about these. You're not supposed to put these on garments, but you all know I like to push the limit. So these are the long stitch designs,
I love that.
and I'll let you guys touch it. Just don't walk off with my skirt. I might need it later.
We will hunt you down. Let's do the fish, because you like fish.
I love fish.
I do too. So again, if you're a Luminaire owner, this should look very similar. They haven't radically changed it at all. So things are where they are. You have all of your colors. You have all of your steps. Very easy to use.
You know, Jerry, while you're talking about embroidery, yesterday there was a group here and they said, you know, I love the big designs, but I don't always want to embroider all the colors.
Mhm.
And I explained to them, and they even had the Luminaire, and I said, you know what, you have a no sew feature.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know they had it on the Luminaire.
Right.
So you can literally click a color and say you don't want it to sew, and it'll show you on the screen exactly what the design's going to look like. So instead of guessing, like I used to do, and then all of a sudden I missed half of my flower, it shows you exactly what it's going to look like. So you can take a design that's built in and completely change it by doing the no sew feature.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't like a color, you can touch that step and change it. If you don't like it, change it. And you know, as you probably know, you're not bound by these colors. You could make this fish green if you want to. Anything you want to do.
I can't help it. I got to touch
I
it.
know.
I got to touch the projector.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Hey, John, hit the other. There you go. Look at how big that is.
So I'll put my hand down for a size comparison. This is 5 inches by 8 inches. 5 inches by 8 inches. You can fill an entire 5x7 hoop with your design. And all of it, if you notice, you might see, this is new to Luminaire owners, all of your changes that you can make. So your size, rotation, any kind of design changes you want to make, you can now do right here from the bed of your machine. You don't even have to look at your screen anymore. You can if you want to, but it works in conjunction with your little stylus here.
The light button.
Should we do the ET turn on your heart light? I'm sorry, I won't do that ever again. All right, so we can move the design here. Let's do that. Let's move the design. If you don't want to see the tools at all, if they're in your way, you can just click on, just like on your computer, you have a minimize and a maximize. So you just touch that, it opens your tools or closes them. You can rotate, you have all of your tools here available for you.
So those that have the Luminaire, remember how if you made those changes, this turns off, the projector turns off, you'd have to go back and forth. It stays on now. So it saves a lot of time.
Love that. Love that. So let's say you wanted to, we love the projector, but some of the designs are huge. Some are very large, and you may have to move your projection area. Not a problem at all. I have opened up here my projection tools, and you notice the arrows here. All I have to do is touch where I want to move, and it moves. So if I need to line up something on the left-hand side of the fish, all I have to do is touch the left, and now all of a sudden the left side of the fish comes into view. Very simple, very easy.
I love that. I love that. So
Yeah.
on the projector, someone asked me yesterday if they're doing a design and they have to match it up. I said, well, they said the projector only stays in the middle. That's not true. The projector will go anywhere in the hoop that you need it to go to match up.
That's right. It goes anywhere you go. So now think of this too. With this large hoop, think edge to edge designs. Jerry has no more excuse for having UFOs anymore. With this large of a hoop, I can now get all of my quilts done. And because you have a projector, lining up all of those little edge points are so easy now. It's just so simple.
So speaking of edge to edge, how many edge to edge designs are in there now?
15.
15. Yes. And you can design your own in my design center too. A little differently, but similar.
Yeah, you can use all those fill patterns now as quilt designs. So if 48 weren't enough, we have 6 more.
Anybody know how much that is? Check it to see who's awake.
It's that new math.
The new math.
I don't know. So let's say now you want to just kind of do something on the right side. As you can see, I'm just touching my right hand arrow and it's moving the design over for me. And there we go. Love it.
Okay, so that's great. That's handy.
Mhm.
Fabulous. You guys excited about that? Yes. But we're going to wake you up even more, because how would you like to take a photo from your phone or a photo from your computer or a photo from anywhere, send it to your machine wirelessly or via USB? We're using USB because we're here. You can never depend on wireless here. So
Yeah.
you can take a picture and this new icon, you got to show them the button.
Yep. Picture play.
There it is. Picture play.
Picture play. So I touched the transfer
Picture.
button.
We're talking about like just a picture. That's it.
So I touch the transfer button, and what that does is it pulls up all the files that I have sent wirelessly to my machine. And there we go. We chose a rose, so we'll just set that. Just takes a second.
So
There
make
it is.
yourself a big cup of coffee, because all you have to do is touch a few buttons and then sit there for 3 hours and watch it embroider. But it's beautiful.
It is. So from this screen, what you can do is change the size of your original photo. You're not digitized yet. You're still working with the photo. You can expand it proportionally. You can shrink it. You can make it smaller, bigger. But here are the 3 magic icons right down here that are absolutely incredible. Let's say you have a picture of a pet or grandchild, child. You took a beautiful picture of something. You love the picture, but you don't like the background. So let's touch that icon here. And what does that say? Background removal. Literally, with the touch of one button and preview, what it's going to do is it's going to remove the background of the rose. So it's getting rid of all the leaves. Check that out. How difficult was that? It wasn't.
I had somebody say, why use Photoshop and I use all these other things? Go ahead, that's fine too. Then just bring your photo over. But if you don't, this is how simple it is to take any photo that you have and turn it into embroidery. You don't have to be a fabulous photographer for this one.
Right.
Although I did say I was going to try to get my brother, when he makes goofy faces, I wonder if that will work in the backdrop.
I want to see that. I so want to see that final product. So the one in the middle now, what we can do is it's a frame. So if you want to choose a hard corner to your frame, a soft corner, or a circle, you can do that too. You can also crop here if you wish. So maybe if you want to crop out the child or the grandchild, maybe they've made you angry, you don't want them in there, you can very easily do that. So as you can see, with the touch of 2 buttons, I now have a circle. So the next icon is fit to frame. If you watch, this picture will move according to the frame that I've selected. So 4x4, 6x6, 5x7. The picture is moving based on the frame or the hoop that I've chosen.
So this is not embroidery yet. A few people were saying, well, is this going to be weird pixels when you change it to a different frame? You're literally in a photo editing mode right now. It has not even been digitized. So you can have any frame you want as long as it's a quality photo.
Yeah. And if you want to even get a little more advanced, but it's not even advanced, you could take the original photo and play with it. You can brighten it. You can change the saturation. Maybe you want more or less colors of your original photo. You can do that right from your machine. But I think we have a great picture here. Why don't you tell them about the styles?
I love the styles.
I do too.
So this is always, who's on Instagram? Okay, they got like a few. Everyone else, like, what planet is that one on? So when you take photos, even on your phone sometimes, they have filters. Where when you slide, you will get different. They'll take your photo and turn it into a pencil stitch, stained glass, all these things. So on here, as you scroll, it tells you right below what it's going to look like. And you don't have to worry because there's a preview mode. So if you don't like it, you can go back. So when you click preview on any of those, how many are in there? Like 10?
There's 10 styles.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Along
really-
with your original. So technically 11.
Yeah. Actually, there's more than that because you can change all the colors
Right.
yourself customly.
Absolutely. And I'll show that in just a
That
minute
word,
once this comes up. Customly. You've made up a new word.
That's the new word for the day,
It works.
customly.
It works.
There's always one a day. I won't tell you what yesterday's was.
We have all sorts of words. It's wonkify, piecify. You know, we have all these words.
Oh, look.
Isn't that incredible? That is now pencil sketch. So this is blacks, whites, beiges, off-whites. So another amazing thing about this is you're not even bound by this. So let's say you love the style, but maybe you don't want black and white. You want to bring in your original colors. You can do that as well. So what's going to happen is this is going to go to work, and it's going to keep the pencil sketch style, but it's going to return me to my original colors. So it's really amazing what you can do.
I
Just
love
take a
it.
second.
Jerry, I'm going to show them
Yeah.
while they're watching. So this was a photo of a horse. And I did not do this. Jerry did.
Oh, it's a self-portrait of me. Awesome. I love it.
And here is what came out. How many hours later?
About 3.5. Not bad. You think it would be longer?
Good morning.
Not at
Mark.
all. And if you feel it, you think it would be really stiff and hard. It's not. It's actually very soft and pliable.
So I should go ahead and just pass around some more of these because these were some of the filters with the horse. And you saw how easy that was. Click a different button, click preview. So I'll pass these around.
While Angela's doing that, I want to draw your attention to my screen. So what I have now is the original pencil sketch, but in my original colors. So I can choose a style and then go back to the original color. And we'll choose next. Now we'll digitize.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I really see a lot of people I can't wait to see what you all create with this. It's going to be incredible. So this will take just a minute to digitize. Let's see, what do we have?
Just a minute. I'll pass this around too, because we will talk about the couching and the fills, but this one is another one with couching and fills. Took 3 seconds to, oh, wait. Where did this come from? What is this?
That's mine.
That's beautiful.
So that's a picture from the internet.
Are you serious?
Brought into Picture Play.
Not that I didn't believe you, but that's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's copyright free, in case anyone knows.
Oh, thanks, Zane. You're hired. That's beautiful. Thank you.
I love to bling things up, so you'll notice that there's a lot of crystals on a lot of my things.
I like bling. You win. I'm going to have to start working on my outfit for next year.
Bling 1 and bling 2.
Bling 1 and bling
Instead of thing 1 and thing 2. Bling 1 and thing 2.
That is absolutely beautiful, though.
That has kind of the whole kitchen sink thrown at it. So there's some fill patterns there, free motion quilting, sewing,
Oh,
picture
here's
play.
the rose that you did with another filter.
Yep.
Here, here you go, Barb.
And so remember earlier we were talking about you can use the fill patterns in my design center as a quilting design. If you look at the borders of that sample, those are all fill patterns that are built in that you can use as a quilting design. And
So-
it works great.
We have Dream Machine. We have the Luminaire. Anybody here not have a brother machine? Not to call you out or anything, but
It's okay.
so everyone with the brother that has my design center, have you used the fills? I mean, the fills are so simple. This was a fill. I made a box and one button had that on there. It looks like I worked really hard. I did not. I was playing with different fonts and I didn't like the colors, which is why they're samples now versus my project I was planning.
That's amazing. So here,
Oh, there
we're
we
done.
go.
There it is. We are now finished. It only took a little bit of time, a few minutes. And what it did is it digitized it. So now this is an exact thread representation of my original picture. And from here, I can choose color, how many colors I like, what brand of thread that I want to choose, Brother Thread or one of the other manufacturers. Has all my steps here. So all of my information is right here. I can still make changes here if I want to. But I think I'm okay with that. So I'm going to touch set. And okay, it's warning me that I'm going to go over to the embroidery section. So if I want to make any changes, I can't once I go to embroidery. So I should probably, and that's a good habit to get into, is put things into memory right away so you can go back and make changes. But I love this. So, and there we are. Now we're in embroidery.
That looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So now let's project it onto the fabric.
And that's the next exciting part. So we'll just take a minute here, let everything get set.
I'm one of those memory freak. Every time I'm finished with something,
Yeah.
I hit the memory to save it to the machine. Sometimes I save it to the machine and USB because I don't want to lose it.
Right. You know,
Look at that.
life kicks in, you get whisked away and there's something you have to take care of, and you come back and you forgot or you've changed something and you can't get back into it. So I make it a habit of putting it into memory. Look at that.
That's beautiful.
Incredible.
Oh wait, you're not on the screen. Hey John.
Yep.
Camera 8. Thank you.
That's impressive, even though the camera number is. But look at that, folks. So now we started with a picture. That's it, a plain picture. And now we're all the way to this. And it took longer to describe it than it did to do it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then you still have your options. You can change
Mhm.
things. And we were playing yesterday that even the pictures that you bring in and turn to embroidery, then it's an embroidery file.
Right.
We took that rose and we duplicated it and we moved it
Yeah.
around. I made a really cool sleeve design.
Yeah, you did a cool border function. Use the border
Yes.
function. That was awesome.
So all of the things are still in here. So not everybody has the luminaire. So why don't we just give them a preview of what in the embroidery side else that they have? Because you have quilt sashing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have the fills, not the fills. I'm thinking edge to edge. Show them the category. 'cause
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's get. There we go. Let's get out of here. We'll go to embroidery. And
then we're going to go to the quilting side, the sewing side.
All right. So.
Okay, can you guys see this?
Sewing side. Right.
It doesn't matter, whatever one you want. I said, and then we will when you're done.
Well, let's do embroidery because
Yeah.
you're talking about the edge to edge
Yeah.
designs. So let's go there. Look at that. So these are categories. So we have one color border function. We have multicolor border function. We even have a hexagon border function. So it's incredible. And then your fill patterns are also in here. These are edge to edge quilting designs. We have 15 that are available to us. Edge to edge.
I love those. I got to share something though,
Oh, please.
because this is really cool. Somebody said, well, I don't want something that just fits into my one itsy bitsy hoop. So when you click over here, you can see on the screen, you can tell it how wide you want your quilt,
Mhm.
how long, or actually, I just do fabric. I don't do the quilt. I like your shirt yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
Yeah.
was just fabric.
I took an edge. If you saw me yesterday, I took an edge-to-edge quilting pattern that's built into the Aveneer, and I used a hand-dyed fabric that I created with some water-soluble stabilizer, and I stitched out the design, the edge-to-edge quilt pattern, all over the fabric, laid my pattern for my shirt on top of that, and cut it out, and then washed out the stabilizer. So I was left with the edge-to-edge quilt design on fabric, and so now you've literally created your own fabric.
It looked great. So all you have to do is give it the measurements. The only thing you can screw up on this is put the wrong measurements in. And then you can decide how wide you want the sashing
Yeah.
for this, and you're done. And it tells
Absolutely.
you to start hooping in the top left, and it just shows you pictures where to go, and then you go to the next row.
And one thing I want to point out real quick is you can do a quilt up to 118 inches square. That's bigger than a king size. So you're going to tell the machine how wide your quilt is, how long it is, and how wide you want the actual pattern, and it'll compute it all for you. And because we have voice guidance, if you wanted to read out the instructions and the steps while you're off doing your hooping, you can do that. You don't even have to be at your machine. The voice guidance will take you through each of the steps.
Have fun shopping, ladies. Love you too. Thank you. All right.
All right, so let's go back.
I think we should go to the sewing.
let's do fonts. Let's do fonts.
Forgot about the fonts.
Yeah, this is something new. Here's the magical section right up here. We now have a preview box. And what that means is once this is off, what we had to do before is if you wanted to choose a font and find it, or a character, you had to pull them up individually. And you may or may not like it. You would have to delete it, return to the next font. I like to say things are, some of the changes on this are small but big. This is a small but big. It seems small, but it's big to me. And I'll tell you why. So now we can choose a font. Look at that. Now we can see every single character in that font. And why it's big to me is my name begins with a J. And in font land, J's can get really squirrely.
Oh, really? Every time I do my sister Julie or my sister Teresa,
Yeah.
the T's just as bad as the J.
Right. So the J's can look like L's, K's, all these other letters.
Did you call that Fontland?
Font land. See,
Fontland.
that's like Wonkify and Pizzafy. So let's choose another one. So there we go. Now I can see what all of the all of it looks like. All right, where would you like to go next, Missy?
Well, we're going to go to the sewing side.
Okay.
I did want to point out, we'll turn it off and take the hoop off because we're running a little bit room out of this table. So we're going to turn that off, and you have to see the new stitch regulator. It's brand new.
Oh my gosh.
But also on the fonts, I wanted to mention that we don't have small, medium, and large anymore. Now you can actually put your font size in. So you know exactly, you're not trying to guess how big is that small, how big is that medium. It's right there.
I love that.
All right, so we're just going to switch over. Now, in your own home studio, you can sew with the embroidery unit
I think I
on
died.
or off. We're taking it off just because of the table room. So we'll just give us 1 sec to set that up.
Literally 1 second.
Literally 1 second.
Sure. Oh, no, you're good. No, that's all right. We're professionals. We can work with it. Don't try this at home. No, do try this at home.
You want to leave that up or you want me to take it? You good?
Yeah, I think it's okay. If I can find the plug. There we go. Awesome. Ignore the man behind the machine.
Okay, so he took it out on purpose. Yeah. So for those of you that have an older brother machine, you can reach over your head. Do you remember the digital dual movement foot? It is not a walking foot. It is not. So I work with a lot of slippery fabrics, and this plugs into the back of the machine, and it controls the band on the top when you're stitching. You use this all the time on yours.
I do. I work with a lot of unusual fabrics too. That's kind of what I'm known for in the quilt world. My newest show quilt is all pieced breakback satin. So you can imagine how slippery that is. With the Move It foot, that belt stays, it doesn't move. It stays right on your project. So piecing quilts, piecing any kind of slippery fabrics is a dream.
And the reason I bring this up is because this plugs into the back of the machine. Now, this is the newer version that came out last year or the year before, I can't remember, but it's the thinner version, so you can get quite a bit of fabric underneath, but it plugs into the back, the same place that this new foot is going to plug into.
I am ready.
That
How quick was
fast.
that?
That fast. All right, I'll get out of your way so they can see the screen.
So let's look at the screen here. You know, in Brother World, they try to keep things as simple as, I should say Brotherland. I said Fontland. We'll say Brother World. They try to keep things as simple and easy to use as possible. This is your stitch regulator menu. Really, this is as complicated as it gets. It's just so simple. I love it. So what you're going to do is select your mode. We have 3 modes that are available. We have intermittent, which is mode 1. We have mode 2, which is continuous. And we have mode 3, which is basting. So I'm going to give you a tip on basting, and you'll thank me later. So let's start with intermittent. You can choose between a straight stitch or a zigzag. Yes, you can zigzag in free motion, but we'll stay on straight stitch for now. Intermittent mode is what we normally think of as stitch regulation. When you start moving your project, it moves. When you stop moving your project, the needle stops. But what's nice about this, has anyone ever tried free motion quilting? Thank you. Yeah, come on over. Has anyone not had a good experience with free motion quilting? I'll give you that 20 later. So, okay. If you've had not a great experience, I can see why. It can be a little intimidating. You're trying to figure out the pedal with the speed of your hands, the speed of the machine. This stitch regulator eliminates all of those variables. What it does is there's a sensor underneath the foot, and it reads the speed of the fabric. So you are in complete control, and it's going to adjust the stitches accordingly. So it's creating absolutely perfect stitches as you go. So I'm just going to start here and just kind of play around.
Jerry, you're really good.
I've done this a few times. Actually, I just started yesterday, so I'm an expert beginner.
I just do flowers because flowers can look like anything. Sometimes the petals fall off.
It was supposed to be a hummingbird, and now it looks like a mushroom. I meant to do that. So what I love about this is I do not feel out of control at all. I am in complete control. I can go very, very slow, or I can go really fast, and the machine just follows right along and creates absolutely perfect, beautiful stitches.
So this is where he's not even using the foot pedal.
No.
So he literally has the green button, the go button on. And as he's moving, what happens if you just stop?
Just stop. It just stops. Where I'm at.
Stops.
So that's where I have control. So I don't feel out of control. I don't feel like I'm having all of these variables to make this difficult. It's absolutely simple.
And that's the intermittent mode.
Intermittent mode 1. Let's go to mode 2. This is continuous mode. Now, much like intermittent, it will start when I start and it will stop when I stop, but the needle will keep moving. So I'll show you right here. And see how the needle keeps moving? Why would you want the needle to keep moving? Well, watch this. When you're doing points, you want it to take that extra stitch at the point so that you get pointy points. And this is the international symbol for pointy points, in case you didn't know. But if you do not take that extra stitch, you get an arch instead of a point, and we don't want that.
Is that
right?
kind of like the international symbol for
Yes, and the International House of Pancakes, which really has nothing to do with any of this, but I just thought I heard international. So if you look at my points here, they are very crisp and very sharp because I was able to take that extra stitch at the point. So let's go on to basting mode, and you're going to thank me for this, trust me.
I love this one.
So with basting mode, you can choose between a 10 millimeter, a 20 millimeter, or a 30 millimeter stitch length, depending on what you're doing.
That's long, by the way.
Here's the trick. So I will say this by saying I was very lucky and very blessed to have a quilt that won first place in Houston a few years ago. That quilt, oh, thank you. That quilt, I had to lay on the floor and use safety pins. There was 1,400 safety pins in that quilt because I didn't want any kind of shifting. After I was finished, my back was gone, my knees were shot, I couldn't feel my feet, and my hands were really raw. And I said, there has got to be a better way than this. When I saw this basting mode, this is a game changer. So what you're going to do is you are going to use water-soluble or wash-away thread. Yes, there is such a thing. What you're going to do is put that in the bobbin and use it as your top thread. You're going to come to your basting mode, and you are going to baste your quilt. Notice how it just hops at different intervals? You're going to do this with your water-soluble thread.
You know, the water-soluble thread you all told me to make Wynn's birthday suit out. Well, it was a birthday suit after that, but it was for his birthday, a bathing suit for his birthday.
That's mean.
I know the
I can't
Wolfpack
believe
said to
you
do
did
it,
that.
and it did turn into a birthday suit, but
We were talking about this at breakfast. I did that for a pool party once. I had friends over and I made, oh, you have to bring a bathing suit. Well, I made them all out of water-soluble thread. Yeah.
note to
So,
self, don't go to Jerry's.
No, it did not turn out as funny as I thought it would. They were not happy about it. But anyway, you can see my basting stitches here. Now that would be the water-soluble thread, right? So now what you're going to do is leave that thread in when you are done basting. Then you'll change out to your regular quilting thread and your regular bobbin thread. Quilt your project as normal, and then you're going to put it in the wash, and all of that basting thread washes out. So no more do you have to crawl around on the floor with safety pins. So I am very excited and looking forward to that as well.
I absolutely love this, Jerry, but I know I can read the comments going through Facebook right now, and they want to know what that light is on there.
Yep.
Why would you have a laser when you're using this?
Right. Well, this is, you know how Brother does. They give us more than we ask for because they're very generous that way. So I'll turn this over to the white side so you can see it a little better. Does everyone see a little line here, a red line and a green box? What are those for? What the red line is indicating is that is where the sensor is. And so as I'm quilting and I'm coming down, actually I'll show it to the other side because this way it'll look easier. As I'm coming down, I know that if I pass that line, my fabric cannot, or the sensor cannot read the fabric anymore. So that is a wonderful visual representation of where the sensor is. So I know I can't go past that line. What the little box indicates, and I'll flip this over again, the little box indicates the status of the stitch regulator. Right now it's green, it's ready to go. I'm actually ready to start. If it can't read the fabric anymore, it will stop and turn red. So it just stop and go. It just tells me how this is. Now, not only is this a red line, you can change that color to how many colors, Angela?
How many colors do you think they can change it to now? It used to be like 3 for most of the stuff. How many colors do you think you can change? Because if you're using a different colored thread, do I hear 5? Higher or lower than 5? I like this. Higher or lower than 5? Okay, higher than lower than 7.
Now, some of you have been to my demo, so that's not fair. You know how many are in there?
Got it. 10.
10? Yep. No.
There's more than 10?
16. 16 different colors you can change.
There's 10 fills.
There's 10 fills. Yeah. There's 16 different colors that you can change it to. So no matter what it is you're stitching on, you're going to find a color that works. All right.
I
So
love that.
we are done with free motion here. That's let's talk about the screen just a little bit. You can use the pivot function. You can use the cutter. You can use the utility stitch. So if you want a nice utility stitch at the end, a locking stitch, you can change your width, your length, left, right, shift, which is a fancy way of saying move the needle, left or right. Tension, that's very important when you're using metallic or monofilament thread. And you can also change the height of the foot. Once you have everything set the way you want to, remember, we like our memory pockets. You want to put that into memory so it lives there until you delete it. And you have not one, not two, but 3 memory pockets to choose from. So you can choose up to 3 different settings, and it will remember your mode, your foot height, all of your settings and adjustments that you've made.
I love that. So I know everyone with the Luminaire knows that everything in the Luminaire is here, but those that do not have the Luminaire, maybe have the Dream Machine, we need to talk about some of the other cool stitches here on the sewing side.
Yeah.
We've got tapering stitches.
Oh gosh.
We've got, has anyone used the snowball feature before? So we have the snowman feature for embroidery. So you can hoop something as crooked as you want, and you literally stick a sticker that looks like a snowman on there, and it will adjust your design. But we have the snowball feature, which my nephews thought were stickers, which was not a good thing. But yeah, you can literally sew. You put the snowball wherever you want it, and the laser will catch it. And now that it's even bigger now, and it will stop right where you put that. So you don't even have to pay attention anymore, really.
Yeah, that's the endpoint feature. It will stop right where that little snowball sticker is. It's incredible.
Oh, go ahead, Jer.
No.
I'm jumping over your head.
All right, I need to unplug the stitch regulator once it comes up. Now we'll go back into sewing mode. There we are.
There. So look at how, I don't know, are they showing the screen? Yeah. Look at how beautiful this screen is. And you can slide, find all the stitches.
Yeah, these are your categories. There's quilting category, there's buttonholes. Do you know that this machine can sew left, right, and diagonal? Yes, it can. Without turning your fabric, you can stitch a square. It's amazing.
That's my favorite.
Me too.
You can do that on the Dream too.
Yeah. All right, let's show the projector, right? Because folks, the projector doesn't just work in embroidery. It also works in sewing as well. So let's turn that on and look at that. So I can audition all my stitches before.
He's not using that foot now. We're not going to take the time to take it off. But you could literally have a sewing foot, and you can see your stitches right on there. Yeah. So you could do this on the Luminaire. Now we can do it here. And now the projector's even larger. Yeah. So you know they have a ton of character decorative stitches. You can see that stitch right on your fabric. Yeah. So you can't miss. Well, ripping out decorative stitches is not fun at all. Not fun
at all. It's like ripping out embroidery. Have you ever tried to rip out embroidery?
Oh, no. No. I wait. I start over because this is one. So I designed 4 embroidery collections that are exclusive to the Aveneer, and this is one of them. It's upside down.
I love this. I think that's so pretty.
So it was supposed to be a blouse. So this was going to go here. Well, I had better placement than that. Here. And it was going to be long. And guess what happened? I ripped it on the grain line, but didn't realize I was so close. So I'm not ripping this out. I'm just going to start over or add some pieces, or now it's a crop top. But yeah.
Isn't that a gorgeous design? I think it's an absolutely gorgeous
design. And you got this in the machine? With the machine, I should say.
With the machine. Yeah.
All right, Jerry, what about, let's show them a few things that they might not know. How about the buttonhole?
Oh, man.
Who likes sewing buttonholes? Probably not many.
I do.
But I love it.
I love it on the brother.
I love embroidering buttonholes even better.
Yeah.
When you make jeans, you put that thick fabric in the end, and sometimes it's not, the buttonhole doesn't always like to behave. You can embroider the buttonholes. Now when I do jeans, I just use a little bit of sticky back tearaway, a small hoop, embroider my buttonholes, and they turn out perfect, just like you bought it in a store. But brother came out with something even better. So now you can line up your buttons. Yeah. You can line up your buttons going vertically or sideways.
Yeah. And one thing I want to talk about is our foot. So if we kind of get a picture of the foot here.
Go to his feet.
We'll do that. Go to my feet. So you'll see that this is a 2-plate system. So we have a plate that's on the bottom, and we also have the foot that's on the top. Why this is magical and genius is these two live together. And then what you're going to do is attach the ankle to your machine. Just takes a second here. There you go. And we're just going to screw that in. Tighten that up. And we're ready to go. Now, instead of your fabric going underneath this plate, I'm going to sandwich in between the plate and the foot. Now, when I drop my presser foot, you see what happens here? I'm tugging on, it's not moving at all. So you are getting absolute perfect placement of your buttonhole. It doesn't matter how slippery the fabric is. You've now locked that fabric into place. So you can do a buttonhole on organza with no stabilizer whatsoever. Has anyone ever tried that? It's fun. But
And
now
knits,
with
you could do it on knits too.
Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah,
stretch the
that's right.
knits out.
See, I can't move at all. So it's all locked into place. Another nice feature is you can take your button right here, whatever button you have, you're going to lock it in here. I'll open it all the way to 30 millimeters. So that's almost 1.5 inches button. That's a big chunky button. And you could do little baby buttons too. So if you're working on little kids' clothing, you would just set your button inside here. We're just doing this as an example. I'll just set it kind of a medium buttonhole. You're going to choose your buttonhole. And then what should we do? Should we choose a projector?
Let's do the projector so they can see. Well, we'll do that first.
Let's do that. So I want to point out here, do you see we have a buttonhole here? Folks, that's not a stitched buttonhole. That's a projected buttonhole. You can see every stitch that's in that buttonhole. So I can audition. So it doesn't matter which one I choose. It will change automatically to that particular button. Do you see it changing?
Oh, my favorite though is it's the exact size that you have in the front that he showed you on that foot.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you change that size right there on the foot?
So all we got to do is I'm just changing the button right here.
And boom.
Do you notice how it changed size?
I think I call that a little bit of magic.
That's incredible. Because maybe
So
you have
can see exactly what it's going to look like.
Yeah. So you could change your buttons like on the fly. So maybe you have a button and you're like, oh, I really don't like that. I don't like that size. It's not going to work. Now, remember, your project is going to be in here. So you can audition what's on there. And you may go, I'm not sure. I might want to go a little bit bigger. Well, it's going to automatically change for me. And I can see that. Don't even have to stitch this out yet. I haven't stitched anything.
But there's more.
But wait, there is more. So let's turn on the guideline.
I think the guideline feature on this is absolutely a game changer on a lot of levels.
Do you see all the information that I have here? So what this is indicating, you can go over to your screen and you can tell the machine how far apart you want each of your buttonholes, and it will automatically compute that. And the guidelines that you're seeing here are telling you that. So if you look here, the top and bottom guideline is what I have my button set for. So I'll stitch that. Once I'm done, I will lift it up, slide it on down onto the next set of guidelines, stitch my next buttonhole, slide it on down. Once I get to that guideline, I can stitch the next buttonhole. So think about this, folks. You don't have to mark anymore. Now I have a guideline over here on the right side. That's where the edge of my project is going to go. So if I'm a buttonholing on a coat or a shirt, I would put the edge of that against this guideline, and I can even tell it how far apart I want it from the edge. So if I want the buttonhole closer to the edge, farther apart, I can just tell the spacing on the screen, and it will compute all of this for you and change the guidelines as you go.
I absolutely love that feature because if you're doing buttonholes this way or this way, it doesn't matter. It's going to give you a different guideline. So if you're doing a bag that you have all the buttonholes going, I'm doing a little gift bag for Christmas now. Now I am. I wasn't going to before, and I don't have to chalk any of them in. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So what? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so just to reiterate, not only vertically, but horizontally, you can adjust this the same way. So if you're doing a duvet cover, if you're doing a decorative pillow that has big chunky buttons on it, you can use that as the front now instead of the back.
I love that. So on the sewing side, somebody who maybe doesn't know how to sew straight, or they're not sewing straight, or they're trying to sew straight.
That's the hardest thing to do.
We need to show them the guidelines because I love quilting fabric as far as, I'm not a big quilter as far as quilting, but I love quilting fabric. So you can use any stitch, and now the guidelines, instead of just being 3x5, are going to be 5x8. So the grid, all of the lines that you're using, I just grab one of the stitches here.
Yeah. So we'll take the foot.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh, check that out.
And you can make it any size.
Yeah.
So if we go back to the screen over here,
Oh, the screen.
Yeah, that screen. I was like, which screen? John's pitch is on. If we go back to the screen, how many colors can you change it there?
How many colors, folks? 16 different colors. This grid can be changed to. So no matter what color your fabric you're using, you're going to find a color that's going to work for you.
And one thing we didn't show them earlier is on the sub menu,
Oh, gosh.
all of the different.
All the
What
different
do you
guidelines.
even call those? Guidelines?
Yeah,
Well, I
guidelines.
call them shapes.
Shapes. shape lines there. So you've probably seen an echo foot used for free motion quilting so that you can stay a certain amount away from applique or a seam. You now have a projected echo
John.
foot. So this can be made smaller, much larger, however you want. You can customize the shape of that now. And brother said, that's not enough. Let's give them some cross hatching. Now you have cross hatching that's on there as well. So we were talking about straight. That's rude. Mike is getting on my nerves. He really is.
Viewers' Choice Award at the Festival Judge Show.
Oh.
You can get your ballots.
All right, get your ballots.
From the Fall C.
Thank you, Mike.
Announcing the Viewers' Choice Award, a $500 prize sponsored by Quilters Rule at 1 p.m.
I think Angela should win the Viewer's Choice Award. What do you think? Absolutely.
Viewers' choice?
Viewer's Choice.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I'd have to have a quilt in there first, probably.
Just you as a person.
Oh,
You win the
I
Viewer's
love
Choice.
that.
So now again, straight line quilting or sewing is a breeze. It's absolutely easy. Has anyone ever tried to sew a straight line really, really straight? It's on their own. It's tough. Once you get that little wobble in there, if you're going to follow along with more straight line quilting, it just gets worse and worse and worse as you go. The next thing you know, instead of a straight line, you're ending with a serpentine. No more, not with the guidelines.
You know, I remember when they came out with these guidelines on the Dream Machine, and I'm trying to think of if it was even before that. And they said, here, try this and use it. Well, I would sew 12 hours a day. I was designing apparel for so many different people. And I thought, I don't need that. Well, I turned it on. And then I realized that I could line up the guide along the edge of my fabric and have a perfect half-inch seam allowance or whatever seam allowance I wanted. And I noticed that my posture, I would sit back instead of staring at the needle like this. Of course, I was young, so it didn't matter so much. But as you get older, it's much better to just lean back a little bit.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of people will look at this and go, that's just a gimmick. It's not. I cannot do without these features. Once you use them and you see how much easier and how much more fun you have with your sewing and quilting, it is a huge game changer. I'm just trying to make these smaller just so you can see exactly what we have here. And again, brother, in their loving way, I'm not very good with imperial numbers, so I can't convert millimeters to inches very easily. But what brother has done, and I'm trying to get down to a 1/4 inch here, 6.35, brother has marked that for you, so you don't have to get out your calculator and think about it. So now, if you look at my grid lines, they're a 1/4 inch apart. So if I'm piecing, I mean, my goodness, can you imagine that? If I'm doing straight line quilting, it's all right here for you. And because we have that larger projector, it's made even easier for me. And not only in front of the needle, but behind the needle. You get 2 inches behind there as well. There's a myth out there that that says everything, once it passes the needle, it doesn't matter anymore. Oh, yes, it does. So you now have guidelines that go in the back as well. So you can just keep feeding everything through, either garments or quilts or whatever it is you're sewing. Everything stays nice and straight and even.
All right, Jerry, we only have a couple more minutes, but
Yeah.
I want to point out something about My Design Center because they love My Design Center. You still have the scanning mat, so you can scan in anything. And like, I find illustrations online,
Yeah.
you know, that are royalty free. Or I take sketches. I took my grandma's writing, scanned it in, turned it into embroidery, brought it into My Design Center. So how many more fills do we have now? We have 54?
We have 6 more. We have 48 plus 6.
It's Sunday.
54.
I was kidding.
I've not had enough coffee yet. My brain
I was
is not
kidding,
going.
Jerry. I was kidding.
I've not had enough. I can't think.
All right. So the fills are so much fun. So by the way, this machine has a lot. And I'm super excited to do another masterclass for Brother. And there are 70 videos that you have access to learn how to use this machine, along with my embroidery collection, along with all the other education that Brother offers. We do live shows. The educators are always showing things. And there's a great package for that too.
Yeah.
But I love the videos.
How many videos, Angela?
54.
How many videos? did you do?
Oh, 70.
Isn't that
I
amazing?
was thinking about Phil's.
Isn't that incredible?
He's trying to get me back.
No. I wanted to repeat because that's amazing to
70
me.
videos. And the class works in a way where it's titled. If you're looking for a topic, you can put in the search topic and you'll go right to it. The tutorial will show you how to use it. And then there's a project to show you how to use it. Once you start doing something in a project, I seem to remember more.
Yeah.
But if you don't want the project, skip the project and go to the next lesson.
But there is she has broken down everything on this machine. So there's absolutely everything covered. So there's going to be no doubt as to what's going on. Look at all
And I
these
want to
patterns.
remind, because I know a lot of viewers at home, if you've recently purchased the Stellaire or the Luminaire 3 or the Airflow Serger or this machine, once it arrives, all you have to do is register your machine on Brother's site and you have access to that class for a year.
Isn't that amazing? So
All right,
here's the
look at
6
those.
new ones.
Oh, you got to show the 6 new
Yep,
ones. Those are
there's
really cool.
Here's the 6 new ones. I love them.
Those look like waves.
It does. I love this. I'm in Palm Springs, California, which is the mid-century mecca modern of the world. So if you love 50s and 60s furniture architecture, this kind of mod flower design would be perfect.
Come see Marilyn Monroe. Come see Marilyn Monroe.
Come see Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, we've got
Marilyn Monroe or
yeah, she's got a big statue.
really?
Big statue of her. Yeah, and her house is there too.
Oh, that's fabulous. Do you guys have any questions for us? Well, you sat here for a whole hour. We better give them away at some thread.
That sounds good.
All right.
I don't think
Is
they
that
like
called
free
bribery?
things.
I don't
though.
think it's called bribery.
I don't think they want anything free. Do you?
They don't want
I don't
anything
think
free.
they do.
So here's your lesson of the day. Some of you were here yesterday for that, but make sure that you choose the right embroidery stabilizer because I thought that was wash away. And if you saw the shirt I wore a couple days ago, I had embroidered sleeves. Well, after 2 hours and 15 minutes, I realized I did not use wash away. After washing and washing and washing, it didn't wash away. So now it's a sample to remind you what not to do.
Or you're thinking, I'm never using this wash away again.
Yeah. All right, let's pick your number 1. She doesn't want any thread. Go ahead. Year 3. You guys are pretty good for a Sunday morning. All right, John, between 1 and 8.
Great.
You know what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Look at
You
that.
know what? You're all getting one.
You're all a
What the
winner.
heck?
You're all
Yay.
winners.
So thank you for coming. Everyone at home, thanks for watching. Jerry and I will be over here if you have questions. And if you buy the machine, you get half of me in there.
Yeah. Half of me.
Half of me. Just the right
We
break.
just split Angela right down the middle.
And we need to come up with a name. I'm not Tom, but you're Jerry. So it could be Ange and Jerry.
Ange and Jerry. I like that. Ange and Jerry show.
Ange and Jerry show.
Yeah.
Does that sound good? What is it going to be? But I'm not Ben.
I know. Ange. We have to be like Brangelina or something. We have to come up with something like that.
Brangelina. That's
We have
what
to come up with some like
that's what they call my husband and I. Wingy.
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 We'll figure something out.
Okay, we'll ask everyone at home to type it in. All right, we got to get off here so the next people can come on. We'll see you guys. Have fun today. It's been great to see you all.
Thank you.
Test, 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 test. Test, there we go. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Donnell McAdams, and I represent So Steady Westerly. And So Steady are known best for the making of the tables, the So Steady tables. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. Down at the bottom down here, I have catalogs. If you're interested in taking one, they're free. You can get that. And then also, before you leave, pick up one of these cards because we're giving away over $1,000 worth of gift items, and you register by this QR code. And just a little secret, not a whole lot of people have picked this up, so you got a good chance to win. So I'll hand those out at the end. Do any of you own a So Steady table? Perfect. One of the things, I'm right over there is where my booth is. You think I could remember. I failed to bring the polish, but the tables need to be polished. And So Steady table polish comes in a little vial, and our tables are acrylic. So you don't want to do anything with Windex or anything like that. You want to make sure that you have the right polish for the table. And so what you're going to do is you just take like a dime size. I think John's getting me. Yeah, he's found it there at my table. Thank you. It comes in a little bottle like this, and you put like a dime size on here. And then it also has this little cloth, and you're just going to wipe that all on and then turn the cloth over and wipe it off. Now you'll notice that when I lift this up, I've also got what is called a grid glider. My machine would fit in there, and all of our tables are custom cut. And then this goes around your machine, and it makes everything so nice and smooth. That glider can also have polish on it. In fact, we encourage it because then when you have your fabric on there, it just is very, very smooth. I do a lot of virtual education. So basically, I'm in my sewing studio by myself. I have a big umbrella over me so the sound comes down, and I'm just talking away, and I have 2 cats in there. And those 2 cats know that when I'm talking to nobody, just stay away from me. When I quit talking, they come around. And I was doing a virtual one day, and it was about a 2.5-hour virtual. And when I got finished, my biggest cat weighs about 15 pounds. He jumped up on this table, slid clear across, hit the wall in the back, and turned around and looked at me as if to say, "What was that?" So all I'm saying that for is if it can slide a 15-pound cat, it's going to slide your fabric. So it does make a difference to have a nice, smooth surface. Now we have accessories for this table. First of all, this one actually comes with a nice big, what I call the big blue drawer. And that big blue drawer holds a lot of stuff. Right now it's holding my Tootsie Rolls. And so since it's Halloween week, I took a few out of the little tub over there and put them in there. But we have tables with the drawer and we have some without. And they're all on special for the event this week. And so you're going to get the free shipping, which is about $30 now. So that's free. You're going to get free carrying cases along with those tables. So if you're interested, stop by over there and I will show you that. If the table you get does not have a drawer, we have what's called add a drawer, and it hooks to one of the legs and then it just swings around on the table. And so that's a nice little feature to have too. You'll notice these suspension arms One I've got fully extended, the other one I haven't pulled out yet. But what this does is this holds your quilt. So this quilt will be held up. So when you're doing any kind of work, whether it's free motion ruler work or even sewing on your binding, where you would like to have a couple friends come and hold this up, but you really don't want to entertain them that day. So you just have to use these suspension arms, and the suspension arms will hold that up for you. So all you do is open this clip up, roll your quilt around at one time, put it back in there, and then it will drape over your table. And it just makes it really easy to move your fabric. Another item that we have is a light bar. And this light bar, if you don't have a light table, this is perfect because you can pull out the drawer, put the light bar underneath, and it will plug into your sewing machine if you have a USB. If not, you're going to plug it into the wall, and that light bar under there will light up this whole end of the table. Now, why would I want that? Well, I don't like to go to the window and trace my appliques, or it's even better when you use it to do your paper piecing because you can actually see through your fabric. And so this light bar is an LED. There's no heat involved, and it makes it very nice and gives you more use for your table. So let's see what else I've got here. As far as accessories for your table, you've probably walked by over there and seen my circle sewing tools. If not, you can stop by and see that because that's one of those things that's better seen in action because it goes around in a circle. It actually needs you. You can see people over there stop to look at it. I don't know if it's that or the Tootsie Pops that are in there, but anyway. And it does all of the decorative stitches too in a circle. So you can take a look at that. Now, a little bit about our tables and our inserts. If you have a cabinet, you may not need a table, but you need an insert to fit in there. All we have to do is ask you your table, or excuse me, yeah, for an insert, it would be your table. And then it would also be the make and model of your machine. For our tables, you just have to decide, and that's a decision you make, what size you want. This particular table is our most popular, and it's 22.5 by 25.5. And I've had people tell me, well, my table's not that big that I'm going to set it on. Well, it doesn't really matter because these legs are only 17.5 inches apart, and they'll set on that. So like right now, I've got about 3 inches hanging over this way and about 2 inches hanging over that way, but it doesn't matter because all of my legs are sitting on that table. Then we have the table size that is called the large. And I know this sounds crazy. It's smaller than this table, but it's called the large. And it is 18 by 24. And that one is over there on the machine that's doing circles right now. Those are our two most popular tables, but we have tables smaller. And there's one over there that's on the serger. A table on the serger really makes a huge difference because it makes your serger more like a regular sewing machine. And we have great big tables. There's one that's about 7 inches longer than this and 2 inches wider. Ladies, you should not leave. We're giving away prizes. But anyway, you can have custom cut any of those tables to fit your sewing machine. So as far as inserts, it's the same thing. We custom cut them. If you have a long arm, we can actually even make the ruler base that a long arm takes for you to do ruler work. So that's about all I have. Or do you guys have any questions? All right. So what I'm going to do, because you're all going to win, that's for sure. I'm going to give you a ticket so we can determine who wins what here. So you want to take one? She's been here before, I think. You take one, pass them around. So this is going to be pretty funny. Everybody's a winner. I can honestly say that, right? So we have what are called embroidery lookbooks. And this is, well, I don't know for sure why it just says lookbook, because this has the stick that has over 200 designs, 675 total designs. So hopefully whoever gets this has an embroidery machine. If not, you've got a great gift because it's got a $300 value on it. And this will work in any machine. It's got all of those formats. All right. So I've got 3 of those to give away. This one is the one that is for feathers. And this is our basic lookbook that has, I'm not sure how many designs on it, 263. So here we go. The first one's going to be the one that's called Starry Nights. And it is 673. You're going to embroider, all right? I'm coming back next year. I want to see it. You got a great gift for somebody. And then we got another one for 674. Is that you? You're cleaning up today, right? All right. And then 671. That's you. I hope you got an embroidery machine. And then you, my dear, are going to win the 2. These are fun. They are what are called phone loungers. So you can put your phone or your iPad in them and watch a video. So, see there? It was worth the stay, right? All right. Well, thank you. And like I said, not a lot of people have entered. So make sure you do this and enter our contest. And I think those are given away next week. Thanks, everyone. You're welcome.
Come and see me. Oh, is that like a huckster? I said, am I being like a huckster? Come and see me. Okay, so what I'm going to show today is quilting in the hoop because everybody loves quilted things, and my quilted things are perfect because I quilt in the hoop, and they're always, always perfect. So that's something that I really appreciate. You can come and join me. He doesn't bite. So I'm talking about quilting in the hoop. Do you quilt? You could if you did it my way. Okay, and you could be the perfect quilter on that 6 needle. Good for you. So to be the perfect quilter, one of the easiest things that you're going to want to do is throw your papers on the floor. Thank you. One of the easiest things to do is to just quilt in the hoop. So what you're going to do on this beautiful, beautiful luminaire is you're going to choose, and I'm going to go right back to the beginning so you can see where it is, My Design Center, and you're going to choose a quilting pattern. So I'm going to come up here and touch the bucket because that fills the whole area, and I'm going to choose a quilting pattern. And the first one is just fill. I don't want that, and that's stippling, and I really want something more fun than that. So I'm going to go to this one, and I have a bunch of quilting patterns. And notice I also have the term custom. Custom means that if I have made some of my own in my software in our PE Design 11, I can make my own. And I'll show you some in a minute that I have made because it's easy and it's fun. But let's go with the built-ins first because there's a lot. There's really a lot that we can do with them. I'm going to scroll this kind of slowly, so hopefully you'll get to see them because there's a bunch of fun ones. Now I'm going to go back up to the top and see that's the custom one, and I don't have any loaded on this machine because it's not mine, but my machine at home has them. I'm going to choose this fella because I already have him stitched out for you. So I'm going to show you what he would look like if I stitched him out. And I'm just going to, well, I don't want to choose the color red because that's a little bit harsh on your eyes. So let's choose a little bit different color. Let's go with Brother Blue, and I'll touch it, and it fills the entire area. And it does a beautiful, beautiful job of perfect quilting, and I'm happy with that. But let me show you some other things that I can do with this. When I go to next, I have a bunch of choices and control things that I can do with this. So this is at 100%. And this is what 100% looks like in real life. And I don't know where the camera is, so I'm going to hold it there and hope that's it. So that's what 100% looks like in real stitch out life. So it's beautiful, isn't it? Now let me show you what it looks like. Let's make it tighter. Let's pretend I'm doing a small piece like a tote bag or like a little bag or a pocket. And I'm going to take it down to 50%. And you'll see it turn really, really, really tiny in just a minute. And that's really tiny, isn't it? The lines show up. Now I'm going to take it and go from 50%, and I'm going to go all the way up to the top. I'm passing 100. I'm going all the way to 200%. Now watch the change and see that difference. There, isn't that beautiful and big? That would be good on a large quilt or a large block. I can also change the angle, and the angle can make quite a difference in how it appears.
We'd like to announce the winner of the Viewer's Choice Award for the Festival Judge Show. This is a $500 prize sponsored by Quilters Rule.
So this one would let us go and move the center of the quilt up. This one will distort it, and I'm going to distort it just a little, tiny bit, just a little bit, so you can see. And the way I like to explain this is that it makes it just not quite perfect. So if you don't want it to look like the machine did it, like you did it freehand because you're that good, Then if you do just a little bit off, you'll see that it's not quite perfect. And I love that we have that capability. Now I'm going to go back. There we go. And I'm going to be perfect again. And then this one is 3 times around or 1 time around. So 3 times around is when I want my quilting to really show. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit more dense. 1 time around means it's a very, very light background. And so you'll see it gets much lighter. So it's more of a true background quilting, which I really, really love and enjoy. Now, let me just show you a few samples, and then let's see. So those are ones I've made. So let me show you this one. This is one I made. Isn't that fun? So that's in my custom patterns for Spidey Man. This is one that I like to show because this is the default pattern. This is what happens when I go down to 50%. This is what happens at 200%. And then if I rotate it, this one doesn't show it as much, but you get a difference in how it looks. And I love that you can do that. The same thing here. I don't much like it at 200%. That's overwhelming to me, but some people might like it. And then I have my pretty angle here. So you can see what a difference it makes. I have so many possibilities with just one pattern because I can change it. Here is one where I just did some of the panels just in a little 4-inch square so you could see them because it does a gorgeous job. They're so precise and clean and so easy. And then that one also has the backgrounds on it. This guy is one of the fills, and I didn't want to waste the time to stitch the whole flower solid, so I just pulled in a little fill. Isn't that cool? And it just makes it look so pretty. I love that we can do that with this. And do you notice that my green leaves look a little bit different? They're different colors. Can you see that? On this side, not on this side, on this side. Okay, so the reason for that is I changed the direction of the thread. Your human eye is so clever. It reads it as 2 different colors, but it's the same spool of thread. Now we're going to go. Isn't that beautiful? I love it that we have that. Now this one I thought was going to be real cute, but it's white and you can't see the background. So I'm just going to put it down because I like to get into the custom ones because they're fun. I'm going to go to the custom ones. I live in Washington State. And so these are features of Washington, the trees, the hearts, the whales, and the apples. So you can make any kind of ones that you want. So there are a bunch in the machine. There are custom ones that are available for purchase from one of our brother educators, or you can just make your own if you have your PE Design 11 software. And that's what, be careful because you'll get sucked in and you'll want to do more and more and more. Don't ask me how I know that, but it's true. So this fella right here, let's see what else I have in here. Okay. This is in the My Design centerpiece, and I just used it to scan. That's just a simple line drawing from a coloring book. If you use coloring books for line drawing, you're going to want to print them out on white paper because it comes up cleaner on the machine. But see the fishy? And I wanted it to look like bubbles, and I wanted it to not look straight up and down bubbles, so they're at a little bit of a diagonal. Is that fun? It looks like a real fish in the ocean, doesn't it? So let me show you how to do this because it's real hard. Or maybe not real hard. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Oh, here's another one. This one is fun. It's just cross-hatching. I literally just took... So what I did was I took a piece of fabric, some batting, and a backing, and I put it in the hoop, and I just cross-hatched the whole thing, and then I turned it into a bag. Because, you know, if you make a bag, it needs to be a little bit sturdier The cross-hatching does that for you. So any of the quilting would do that for you. It makes it more durable. And then you just box the corners and you got a bag. Kind of a handy little zipper bag to go do what you want to do. So let's go in here and we're going to go to My Design Center, which is right on the screen. And we're just going to play with some fills. So the top one is I can play with an outline and put in any shape that I want. And the bottom one is to put in a fill. So I'm going to choose the fill. That is the straight stitching. I don't want to do that. That is stippling. I don't want to do that. I want to do these guys. And so let's go down. Is there anyone that you think is really exciting you'd like to see? Because we can, any of them, you like them all. Okay, that's the problem. They're all really cool. It's hard to decide sometimes. This is a fun one too. And I like to pick this guy. And let's do him in Brother Blue. And there he is. So it looks like an all overall quilting. And then again, I can take him down to really small and I can take him up to really big. But now you noticed here on my fishy, I made the bubbles go around my fishy, not behind him. Now it'd be okay if you went behind him because the embroidery would most likely cover it up. But there's a way to do it so that you don't have to do that. So I'm going to just choose a little embroidery design. Let's see what I can find. Oh, you're going to be it. So I'm going to choose a little flower. I'm going to go to edit and see this little empty flower icon. It's a good worker bee. So what you're going to do is you're going to touch it. And it's made an outline. It's made a wall around it to keep the quilting out. So now that I have that, I'm going to put it into memory. And it says to recall from my stamp pattern list. And it shows you what to touch. So I'm going to go, okay, add My Design Center, stamp pattern list. It's that icon right there. And there's the flower. And there he is. Now I don't need the flower in there. I just need the outline to protect the flower from the quilting. So now let's see. What kind of quilting do we want around that flower? What makes sense around that flower? Leaves? No, yeah, okay. So we're going to choose leaves. Well, we can go through real quick and see what else. There's roses. They're a little overwhelming. The spider web's a little scary. No, I'm just kidding. They're fun. Let's go through here and oh, I do like that one. I'm going to choose leaves. Here we go. In green. Here we go. And it quilted around it. It won't mess with my design. And now those are a little small to me because they're going to overwhelm my flower. So what I'm going to do is actually I'll probably just make them a little bit. Nah, I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to go to next. And I can take them from 100%. I'm going to go up. I'm going to go to about, let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's much better, isn't it? It doesn't overwhelm my design quite so much. And the angle is good, but I can still change it. So that's a little bit different angle. The next icon is one that allows you to choose where you want the center of it to be. So if you were just quilting with this and you wanted to be at the center, you would do that. And then you can move that center point off like this, and it leads the human eye to the corners of your quilt, which is really kind of fun. This one is distortion. So I can distort my quilting. I can make it not quite perfect. So let's go just one. Let's go two. Let's go wild. And you'll see they're not perfect leaves anymore. They're actual Mother Nature leaves now. They're a little bit wonky and distorted. So we can leave those or go on. This is the center of the quilt. And the next one is how thick it's going to be. Well, I want it to be the background to what I'm doing. So I'm going to ask it to just do one once around quilting. It still paths it so you don't have any lumps or bumps or turns, but I just want that single thickness, and I'm going to tell it okay. And there we go. And I can set it. I usually put it into memory right here, because if it isn't exactly the way I want it, it's easier to come back to that point. And I can touch set, and it tells me okay. And there we go. It's ready to stitch. So this was my best friend when it first came out, and it still is today. And you can make block after block after block and have them all come out perfect in touch. It's amazing what you can do with these backgrounds. And then when you get into where you are creating your own, it can be anything. If you love dogs, it can be dogs. They can be upside down, inside, and all around. And I love this. Now, I kind of went through that fast. Do you have any questions? No? Oh, you're new to welcome. Welcome to our world. I'm sorry to tell you that you're going to be stuck here forever because it's too much fun. Once you find out, do you have a quilting machine yet?
I do not. But, I do have a new sewing machine. I just haven't set up yet.
Hooray. So you're going to go home and set it up, I bet.
But yeah, that's the goal.
That's the
But
plan.
it's not an embroidery machine, and I'm wishing that I had done quilting in it.
Yeah, it's fun. And you can always add the embroidery, as a separate machine. And a lot of people do that anyway. So whichever works out for you. It's just a nice, friendly way to work it. But it's just so straightforward to be able to do something with this and have whatever you want. And with the quilting and all. And then when I go to embroidery, oh, do you see what it says at me? It didn't call me a dummy. It just told me that I needed a larger frame. So I'm going to take the frame off. It was nice not to say anything like, what are you thinking, stupid? But it doesn't want me to make a mistake. It doesn't want me to endanger the machine, and it won't let me. So that's one of the good things about the Brother machines. It won't let you go off course with it, which is a good thing. So did you miss any of this, or do I need?
No,
You got it all.
no,
Okay.
I'm just kind of taking it all in and looking at it.
Okay, good.
Because I'm not, other than looking online, I'm not really looking for other machines. Mine is a baby line.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm kind of just seeing what I can see. I do love the scanning.
Yes. Yes.
So we're just taking everything in today.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. And you know that machine that you have is very, 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 very compatible with what I'm showing you. So very, very. So having these backgrounds, did you get the one with the background fills on it?
I don't remember. I've actually bought my machine a couple of years ago.
Okay, you just haven't played with it yet.
I haven't gotten it out since we rented our house, and I didn't want to take it out of the box, set it up, and have to put it back down. So all of that's done, and I'm just.
And you're now getting to the brave part where you take it out of the box and play with it. Well, good for you. I know you'll enjoy it. I love this. I make not almost. I make all of the gifts that my family gives because I can, because it's so easy to do something, even something as simple and easy as a pot holder. When it's got their custom quilting on it, it's exciting, or their initial on it. They get excited about it, and it's really fun for them. So you'll have fun with it, I know. I would. All right.
We're gonna look around some more.
All right. Well, good luck, and thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all for joining us. Do I need to repeat anything, or did I cover it pretty well? What's your opinion? Okay. Okay. Well, then I'm going to say thank you so much for joining us. Remember about the quilting. It's on our Brother Luminaire. It's on our Brother 10 needle, and it's on our Brother Stellaire. So those machines have these beautiful built-in fills that you can use for quilting or background or anything that you need to stabilize fabric. These fills are wonderful just for stabilizing a piece of fabric that might not be as stable as you need it to be. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful day.